Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's Mountain Mobility Working Group meeting. Today is the last meeting of 2024. So thank you all for being here. And it's exciting to be done for the year at least. I have a few items here. We have the agenda for today that I put in the chat, and we can start with a round of introductions. I thought that it would be fun to share your name, organization, and then your favorite meal or dessert that feels like festive or Christmassy or just like wintry. Whatever you like to eat during this time of the year so that I can get some ideas. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first person I see on my screen. That is Reba. Reba, if you want to share with us your name, organization, and favorite wintry meal.
Reba Mitchell, I'm Director of Nederland Area Seniors. My favorite wintry meal would be probably gumbo. From Louisiana to Colorado in the wintertime.
Oh, I didn't know you were from Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And that's warm, right?
Louisiana's warm, but gumbo is hot.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you for sharing. The next person I see here is Landon. Landon, would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, I don't know if I think he disconnected. It's okay. We'll go back to him. Tom, do you want to go next? Oh, I don't know if we can hear you, Tom. It might be like a setting within your like audio. Let me share here the if you want to join via like phone. Sometimes people do that.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Tom Mahold, Netherland Food Pantry and Peak to Peak Health and Housing and Human Services. And I was in Costa Rica last week, so I can clearly say it's pork ribs with pineapple and plantains.
Pineapple and plantains. Wow, that sounds very tropical, but suitable, I guess. Thank you. Annette, would you like to go next?
Hi, my name is Annette Trufelt-Frank. I'm also with the Food Pantry and the Peak to Peak Housing and Human Services Alliance. A dessert that I like this time of year is pfeffernussen, which is an anise and powdered sugar kind of airy cookie. And then my dad always bought maple sugar candy in the shape of turkeys and maple leaves. So.
And where is that dessert like from? Or is it like a specific, or is it just a family recipe?
Pfeffernussen is German, and the maple candy comes from the northern climes where you can get maple syrup, but it's kind of it's crystallized and crunchy. Very, very sweet.
That sounds very yummy. Thanks for sharing. Katrina, do you want to go next?
Katrina Harms, Peak to Peak Housing and Human Services Alliance for the last time. And I love cocoa. So my in-laws have, not in-laws, my nephew's in-laws make this amazing spicy cocoa, and that and a ton of marshmallows will brighten my day.
I was going to ask if you did like whipped cream or marshmallows.
Marshmallows.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy for whipped cream.
It's a great combo. Thanks for sharing, Katrina. Lisa, do you want to go next?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Director of Operations at VIA Mobility Services, and my favorite is a triple berry pie made by the Pig and Pie company in Milliken, and it's blueberry, strawberry, and raspberry, and it's divine.
I want to let that sink in for a little bit. It's blueberry, raspberries, and what's the other one?
strawberry, blueberry, and
Right.
raspberry.
Oh, that sounds so yummy.
Very good. Yummy.
Yummy. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. Angel, do you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. Angel Bond with Mobility for All. And I think I like a little bit of eggnog, like in moderation. And I like pumpkin pies. Yeah.
I heard that eggnog is divisive.
I think that it's something similar to like to pumpkin spice, where like so many people have incorporated the spices or the taste into so many different products that it can be hit or miss. It can be like really fake tasting sometimes.
Good to know. Thank you. Nick, do you want to go next?
Hi, all. I'm Nick Aguilera. I'm new with Boulder County as of just over 5 weeks. The past few years I've been making sweet potato pie. I love pumpkin pie, and sweet potato pie even takes it to the next level. So give that a go if you haven't tried it before.
Oh, I don't think I ever had that type of pie, but sounds very yummy and healthier.
No, it's not. No. Lots of butter. It's not.
But it's a vegetable. Well, it's a vegetable. It could be. I guess it's not. Thanks, Nick. Paul, do you want to go next?
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Kwiatkowski, Transit Program Manager with Boulder County. When it comes to winter, you didn't ask what I like to wear, but I like a flannel shirt. I need that. So Nick's doing that for me today. And then soups. I love soup. I absolutely love soup, and I would eat it during a hot summer, but most people around me won't. So I really look forward to the winter when all of a sudden soup is acceptable again. So I like me a soup.
Do you have a specific type of soup that you like?
Stuff that has broth and vegetables and some kind of protein in it. And no, I like all kinds of soups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good to know. Thanks, Paul. I think I'm the last one. So my name is Jessica Villena Sanchez. I'm with Mobility for All, Boulder County, and I really like bread. So I like making bread, and I started a couple of years ago, and I've been slowly trying to improve my bread skills. So I've done that with some soup on the side to make it feel more like nutritious. I don't know, but I like having like my apartment just like warm with the oven, with the warm breath. So yeah. Thank you for sharing, and hopefully this conversation didn't make you too hungry. So let's move on with our agenda because we have several items. So the first one I have here is just mountain ride updates, and also talking about funding for 2025. Angel, did you want to talk about it?
Yeah, Nick, did you look at some of the data? I thought that, did you want to talk first or did you want me to talk first?
Yeah, well, and Angel, would you just like me to speak to the data of the shuttle or anything
Yeah.
else? Okay. Yeah, so we looked at the Katrina, and the team have collected great data on ridership for the peak-to-peak shuttle between along the highway. We were curious, how many people are residing within the Netherlands Eco's Pass district, and the data is not quite detailed enough in terms of where in terms of times a day of individual riders to determine exactly where people are living. 10% of all rides take place entirely within the Netherlands Eco Pass district. That means like somebody is picked up in and gets off inside of Netherlands Eco Pass. Whereas just about 50% of all rides start outside the district, and just about 50% of all rides end somewhere within the district. So people are obviously wanting to travel to Netherlands and completing some, personal need or business need on those trips there. We have reached out to Bob and Via Mobility to see if there's any more detailed data that we can collect to try to get a better understanding of where people are residing while they're using the shuttle. Like I said, we just have a total number of riders each day and their pickup point and the drop-off point without the information to know exactly what time of day they're taking those trips to have slightly more detailed information.
Great, thank you. And so I guess that kind of leads us to our next discussion. So we're looking at like funding options, right? So I heard from Bill from Via Mobility Services that they're only going to be able to contribute $20,000 next year. So that's less than what we were expecting, right? We had assumed that we could get $40,000 with 5311 funds and $40,000 with Boulder County's funds. So I do think that we're trying to like creatively look at like what funding sources are potentially out there. And there are some transit needs from like within the Nederland like Nepedak like service area. And so I think you were looking at it specifically to see if it would be good to use Nepedak dollars, which we have more Nepedak dollars, to augment the service, or possibly use it as a way to connect to El Dorados or to Eldo, sorry, the ski resort. So that's kind of why you were looking into it, correct, Nick?
Correct.
Yeah. So, so I know that that's not wonderful news. I've asked, Lisa, I think you were on that email, but I've asked Bill if we can get like a service like schedule projection for 2025, assuming that we would have 40,000 from Boulder County and 20,000 from 5311. And we'll have to bring it back to this group to discuss like what course of action we want to take given the budget. Lisa, do you want to contribute or add any clarifying issues?
Yeah, so I was on that email, and I saw that I had a chance to talk with Bob to see, what things look like. And so to keep the 2 days for 104 days of service, 104 days of service in 2025, we'd need a total of about $69,160. So we're a little over 9,000 short. If we missed a few days due to weather, maybe a couple of other little things, we'd be at about 66.5 overall. Bill is out of the office until Tuesday, but when he comes back, I'm going to tug at his purse strings. I can grovel with the best of them.
Yeah.
And see, we're a little unknown of what we're going to get for 5311 for 2025. We have not received that information yet, so we don't want to overpromise something that we don't know if it's going to be cut. Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be more? And we honestly just don't know. I do know that he reached out to see and didn't get any definitive answer on that. But let me see what I can do. And that if we could get the 5,000 more, which or 6,000 more, that would give us the 2 days of service that we currently do, which is the Wednesday, Thursday, that seem to be really good days. Monday has been crazy popular as well. That will go till the end of this month, and then make a decision of what days you all want to do, and what would be the best use. But let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
I'm feeling optimistic that I can twist his arm.
So, I mean, given that it's only like $9,000, which I mean, I know that he had mentioned the FA amount that they had, and like 2 years ago, but that was ARPA dollars. So they're not able to contribute $10,000 on an annual basis. My first thought is that we continue for the first 6 months, assuming that we do 2 days a week, like we had understood, and then we reevaluate what the budget is mid-year or getting close to the mid-year, and see if your 5311 award is changed by any means, or two, if we could find like if we're under budget on any of our other Mobility for All projects or any of our other transit projects, if we could like increase the amount that we contribute this year.
Yeah.
And then,
I think that's a good plan. I like that.
But then there's also the other discussion that Nick and Landon want to have about possibly also partnering to fill in the NB gaps using the NEPADAC funds. But that's, I think, a separate conversation that we need to really like meet internally to discuss, right, Nick?
Correct. And I was also going to say, and Angel, Lisa, Landon, Alex, and we can all have this conversation to see if there's any additional data that we can collect as the shuttle continues to operate into those first 6 months of next year to help have a more concrete understanding of where people are residing.
Yeah, we can do I mean, it's fixed route, so we're limited, right? It's not
Yes.
like paratransit where we get a ton of information. But let me talk to Bob and see what else he can pull. If you could just send me an email of exactly what you'd like to have, your wish list, and let me see if I can make that happen.
Yeah, I'll forward that message that I just sent to Bob. Thank you.
I do think, Lisa, that we should do an onboard survey. And I know we discussed this during the grant discussion that we had with Gilpin County. So I think maybe we should talk about, are there 2 weeks within the year that it makes sense from a ridership perspective to do an onboard survey? Because RTD does this, like, I forget how often they do it, but if we did an onboard survey quarterly, let's say, right? So we get all the different seasons, then perhaps we can make assumptions based on where people live and some of their demographics, so that we can apply for different grants. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay.
We can have the driver pass it out and collect
Yeah.
it.
And we would be open to like giving people a gift card if they submitted it, or like doing some sort of incentive program
Yeah.
for people to take it. Annette?
I just wanted to ask a question about the data. When someone begins their ride in Ward and ends their ride in Ward, we can't just assume that they reside there. We have to ask them. Is that what the parameters are? Or Rollinsville, because both of those would be outside of the district that you guys were looking at.
Correct. I think that
Yeah.
we do not have the data to actually know where people are residing. We do just know where they get on and where they get off, and do not want to make any incorrect assumptions.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I guess
Anecdotally, you
colloquially-
can make those assumptions.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
You're not going to
mean,
Ward on that bus. You don't
I
have a
get
ride.
it, but yeah.
Yeah. I do think
also-
no, go ahead.
So I also am concerned about somebody who pays taxes for the Eco Pass, that if you do that switch, are you going to make taxpayers mad about funding something that wasn't in the original district thing? And that just seems kind of weird.
But it's a connector to the service? I don't know if that matters.
So I think what, Nick, if you feel comfortable answering this, I'll let you, but if you want me to do it, I can. I think the argument is that when there was an assumption that the NB service would be restored and that there would be better service along the RTD route from Netherland to the ski resort, right? And now that RTD's service isn't as good as what it was originally before COVID, that people have that missing connection from Netherland to the ski resort. So I don't think that what Landon and Nick are talking about is like just subsidizing the mountain, like the peak to peak, the mountain rides program, but it's possibly having a variation that would serve their purposes. So it would be like, I don't know, like a offshoot on like certain days of the week, maybe that goes up to the ski resort. But I don't know if it's a fully baked idea yet. It's just, we were just kind of talking about how to brainstorm some of these service gaps, because RTD's service, we don't know exactly when the NB, the NB headways are going to return back to like normal.
Got it. I just know that I wouldn't want my taxes going to a service that was servicing
Yeah.
Eldora.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of adding a stop to the high school? Because the bus doesn't go to the resort after ski season, right?
So I don't think we have a fully baked idea.
Okay.
yet. Nick, do you have anything to add other than what I said, or did I say anything
No,
wrong?
thank you, Angel. You said everything that I know. I have just looked at the existing data of where people are getting on and off on the current route and the current schedule being operated. I do not know any more details. And Landon had to jump for a tight deadline, but I'm also sure that he'd be more than happy to help us answer these questions.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think that the budget, they're over budget on the EcoPass district, the public improvement district. And so they're just thinking of creative ways to improve mobility within Netherlands, because even with like the new contract with the business EcoPass, I don't think that they're fully gonna expend all of the money. So I think they want to know, and there'll be a public process. They wouldn't just make this decision in isolation. We're just like in research phase. It would ultimately be the NEPIDAC committee that would decide like what programs go forward, I believe.
Angel, I do have some information that Landon also sent over about the NB bus. Is this a good time to mention that? I know we just
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah, is this the Boulder Canyon Extra, or is the
Correct, yes.
okay? Yeah, we can move that up on the agenda. Do you want to go ahead and say that?
Yeah, Landon also wanted to share that Boulder Canyon's extra supplements for the RTD's northbound route, or NB Netherland bound route rather, began on Monday and will operate through January 2025, when RTD should be able to adjust the NB schedule to meet the needs of families and students of Netherlands Middle School, of Netherland High School and Boulder High School as well. There is also one link related to that news that I'm going to drop into the chat for everybody.
Great,
And
thank you.
That
this was-
sounded like it was funded by the county.
Yes, I don't know. I wasn't here when we started this, so I'm not sure what funding source they wanted, but this is a stopgap service just to help those students that are choicing into Casey and Boulder High, Casey Middle School and Boulder High. Last meeting, we had the discussion about how families were caught off guard by the change in service hours for the NB, and how kids were being left in Boulder for a long time, like 2 hours or something like that, until the next bus, because they just barely missed the bus that they would normally take to get back to Netherland. Nick, do you have more specific information?
Yeah, RTD will be adjusting the schedule next year in January to address this gap on their ends, but Alex Heidright and the county were able to get this stopgap service in partnership with VIA Mobility in response to this challenge for students to catch the bus.
And that's great. And I really appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure that the credit was going where it needed to go.
And I'm not sure which funding source Alex is using for that. I don't know if that's our sales tax or general fund. Nick, do you want to?
I do
Right,
not
but
know
it
that.
wasn't RTD that was doing that. There was a discussion somewhere about who was funding it, and I just wanted to make sure I knew the right information.
We'll clarify in the meeting minutes. We'll ask Alex before we send out the meeting minutes so that you know where we're getting the funding from.
That'd be great. Thank you.
So it sounds like we're all right with proceeding, Lisa, assuming that we'll just go to 2 days next year. We'll reevaluate the budget to see if we can cover 2 days for the entire year while we still pursue grant applications potentially or other funding sources.
Yeah, I'm good with that, and I'll work on Bill in the meantime.
Wonderful. Does anybody have any thoughts, initial reactions to the days of the week that we want to keep around starting January? Because we need to start publicizing this from a communication standpoint.
if Monday's looking better, I mean, that was kind of, I kind of felt like the numbers for Monday were way ahead. So
Yeah.
I was kind of curious if that was what we should go towards.
I haven't updated the data, the average trip per day data that I had last time. Let me go back and plot out the ridership based on the day, and then in the follow-up email, we'll have, this is the average trips per Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and via email, we can come to consensus. Does that work, Katrina?
That does. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, our original Wednesday, Thursday was kind of, it was based mostly on the senior lunch and Thursday for the pantry being open.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to lose that. So I was just,
So, yeah.
I don't know if the pantry, I can't remember, Annette, sorry, if the pantry's open on Mondays or.
I put in the chat, clinic is hours, the pantry's hours, and the senior meal on Wednesday. We had to switch our Monday hours to Tuesday due to delivery from community food share and staffing. So the only day we have in common with the rides now is Thursday.
And how many people are you seeing come on the Thursday rides for food pantry?
I don't know the exact number because we now have people taking the RTDB bus to town to come to us. And so I don't see who
Right.
gets off the shuttle. I mean, I know the regular people that take it, like from Rollinsville, there's like one or two families.
Mhm.
And I know like the twins come from Ward and things like that.
Mhm.
I could ask Kendra if she can give me some more data on that.
Wasn't it Thursday that we altered the route a little bit to serve that area? That was on a Thursday, correct?
And we're now located right next to the RTD lot
Right,
where we were in the community center.
right.
Yeah.
The yeah, I think the two important things are the pantry and the senior meal. So the senior meal is nice and set, you know, and if the pantry can commit to some hours and hopefully it wouldn't change, like with the staffing and stuff, you know, if that's going to be an issue, but I would love, you know, for it to always be able to connect those things, because that's what our kind of our original deal was.
Yeah. Currently, our hours on Thursday are 10 to 1, which is a little short for some people, but I know the family from Rollinsville makes it. You know, they come in, they just can't do like 3 activities in town on that day. They can just do a couple, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Wednesday and Thursday, yeah.
How much, can you give us a breakdown like per day, what it costs? Do we just divide the operating costs by like 3 for the year so that we could see what each day of the week is and see if we can find someone to help with that? If we wanted to add Mondays back again?
Yeah, the cost per day, let me see, I got it right here, $665 a day.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I know that you had said $95 per hour,
Yeah.
but then that also, like, you also calculate the deadhead miles in that amount, right? So it's good to have that by day amount. Thanks for sharing that, Lisa. Okay. So it sounds like, Katrina, you're leaning towards keeping it the original Wednesday, Thursday, and Annette, you had put that Clinica is also open on Wednesday, so at least people would have access to Clinica on Wednesday, Thursday.
I, you know, and I say that, but the Monday numbers, and I haven't looked recently, were so high. I mean, I feel like if people were really writing it on Monday, I hate to move, I hate for somebody to lose their access to the pantry or to the senior meal, but I felt like people were really using it on Mondays. And
Well, how did that shift? Did it take ridership away from the 2 weekdays, Wednesday, Thursday, when people come on Monday, or are they doing an additional trip? That would be interesting to know, because we don't have like per rider information right now.
I will quickly see if I can finagle this data and see if I can give you a quick snapshot of the average here. But
I know people come in to do laundry and,
Yeah.
grocery shop and all of that stuff. And then they get a ride when they have a medical appointment to Golden or the VA and do something along the way that way too.
Yeah.
Another service.
And I don't know how much it makes a difference, but currently, we only have one rider that is coming to lunch right now that I know of. But they've been pretty consistent. And they're only able to come because of the mountain rides.
I
But
think
I don't,
if
yeah.
that was the case, we could figure out how to get that person a ride if that's the one. We could maybe work on how to accommodate that person. So
Well, that could dovetail with number 5 on the agenda, right? If there's better ridership Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday, and we need a ride for this person, then we kind of, it can be one of those person-oriented planning groups, right? Where we come together and try to get that person access.
Right.
Get the volunteer driver to bring them to lunch.
That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Different ways to get around, huh?
I mean, I was hoping that it would increase people knowing that they could join. If they do get there a little earlier and have to leave a little earlier, it's not really spanning our lunchtime like people are normally there for. So I mean, maybe this could just start a conversation to have like a pickup spot in north of Ned to pick up a group of seniors that want to come join lunch. I mean, I'm having people in Gold Hill ask about trying to get a senior lunch program there, but maybe it's more a matter of just trying to get a group of people transported here for it to happen somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the Gold Hill was also trying to get a pantry going too. So I don't know if they got very far with that, but yeah, there's a couple things there that we might want to see how we can help again. Outside of that's all outside of transportation, but
That's good context.
With the climb in Gold Hill, can we once a week bring people up to the lunch until they get something going on their own? And I don't know I know there was a timing issue on using it in conjunction with mountain rides, but maybe if it was just a once a week thing, maybe, and just for lunch, maybe that would work. I don't know. I don't know who we
and maybe if
talk
they're
to about that again.
Yeah.
That would be Alex and Angel and that group that make that decision.
Right. Yeah.
I know that we had briefly talked about it, but I think that I think we had decided to table it until the transit plan was underway to kind of look at it more holistically for the network. But I'll ask, I think that Paul and Nick, they're on Alex's team, so we can maybe have that discussion as well, like when we touch base on the NEPA deck.
Yeah, if we're not looking at the everyday, middle of the day, getting the climb, up to meet mountain rides, and it was just like a bringing people once a week to Netherland from Gold Hill to do whatever, that's a step.
Yeah.
Maybe picking up a word along the way to those extra people who want to join senior lunch or something. I don't know.
Is that a good,
I
that
don't
seems like a
know.
long way around, but yeah, but something to work on, Reba. We need to keep our eyes on that.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want you guys to be keeping mountain rides on Wednesdays for one person that I know that's joining our senior lunch, but I was hoping that more people would catch on to that. But there's different people have different difficulties, you know, with getting to that bus to get here anyway. So
Yeah. Keep hoping for the,
Yeah.
keep for the volunteer drivers. But
We
yeah,
have an update.
and I love, I mean, and I love the fact that we could probably as a community find people to cover that one person
Mhm.
if the numbers show that Monday is an important day.
I think so too.
So did that give anybody any kind of conclusion, or are we still
Yeah.
walking around in a circle?
I was also thinking if there's the opportunity of doing an onboard survey, just to ask those people who are currently regularly riding the service, like if they have a preference, if, you know, like Annette was saying, is it the same? We don't know how many, if the same people who are riding on Monday are also riding on Thursday or Wednesday. Maybe that could also inform the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Angel, were you gonna say something about the data for the days, or should we move on to the next
To move
agenda?
on, and I'll be in sorting right now. We can circle back to that one.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's look at the agenda. So, okay, this is about mountain rides and the funding for 2025. And then the next item will be a debrief on the Gilpin County opioid meeting. I know some of us attended, and is that you, Angel, who was gonna
Well,
talk
I'd like to
about
hear
that?
Lisa's, like, if you all had internal discussions after that meeting. I don't know, because I know that Ryan he seemed a little more cautious, I guess. So I just wanted to know if you all had any candid discussions just with your team.
Yeah, Ryan's always the cautious one. But yeah, Ryan and I talked about it. I talked about it briefly with Bill. He's been so busy working on the budget, though, that I haven't had much time to really go into depth. I think it's got really good possibilities, and I kind of see it. I've probably been the one thinking about it the most, about how could it work, what would it look like. I think sort of twofold. From the conversation that we had. One, could we use it to give more days and more into Gilpin for the mountain ride, which I think is very possible. But then the one doctor mentioned about people needing to get from Gilpin down into Jefferson for rehab, for therapy, for other things that they have to do down there. And if I remember correctly, she said that sometimes it's not a problem people getting down there, but it is a problem for them getting back up into Gilpin. And so I kind of see it where it has the possibility that we could expand the mountain ride with it, go further into Gilpin, make the day longer, give it more days. And again, based on what the need is, and it would have to have a survey and get all that information. But then possibly a microtransit or paratransit if they want to get a lot of data, to go ahead and do it from Gilpin down into Jefferson. And what day, maybe it's just 3 days a week, maybe it's 5 days a week. I don't know what the need is, but there's definitely potential there. And there's a nice chunk of money that goes with it, to be able to do something like this and to get the people the help that they need and serve others as well. for something that really doesn't have a lot of options. So that's kind of where I'm at. I planned on talking with Bill about it more in depth than Frank, once Bill comes back from his time off. And be able to really put our heads together. And of course, it would be Ryan that would be doing the heavy lifting of putting the proposal together of what would that look like, and, you know, how do we see that, the costs associated with it, and all the stuff that goes with it. So that's kind of what I've been thinking of, as a possibility to assist more, to increase the mountain ride, and to get people down into Jefferson County.
If I remember right, the request for proposals, I guess, is sometime early next year. So, Lisa, I really appreciate that it's being, that you're thinking about it and putting your mind to it, because I know how important it would be. So yeah, and if there's anything that I can do to help, I know Janie and I talked about it afterwards as well. So Gilpin's on the very, very beginnings, even further behind than we are, because we have mountain rides, and they really, really want it. So, maybe by next year, they'll be able to put some in their budget too, Gilpin County. So.
Yeah, there's potential there for sure, and we know that there's a need. And so even maybe coming from Boulder and going up into Ward and into Ned and into Gilpin, and then, the mountain ride does its thing, right? And then you've got another, like a micro transit or paratransit based on the information needed or gotta have to be able to go ahead and do from those areas and go down into Jefferson to get the stuff. So I really see it as two different services, working in conjunction with each other to get people to and from where they need to go. And doesn't sound from what she had said that there was a whole lot of options in making that happen. And so they've got this pretty big budget. And so what could that look like, and how could we serve the people that need it for the opioid addiction, but also the others that need to go back and forth as well. So I kind of see it as a win-win all the way around. It's just a matter, I've got it in my head how I can make it work. It's just putting it down.
Falling out, yeah.
Yeah, and that's Ryan's gift, right? He is so good at putting the proposal together and what it could look like. I think there has to be a lot that goes in it, but I think it's got enormous potential, and I would like us to be part of it if possible. And I know, Angel, in your email, you said, were we interested in taking the lead on it? I don't make that decision. My answer would be, yeah, let's try. But I'll get with Bill and Frank and Ryan and Adriana, and we'll sit down and see what it could look like. And I think it would be great, and I think it would help a lot of people.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked if you all would be interested in taking the lead is because I don't think that we could justify our grant writer applying for a Gilpin County grant that would benefit Gilpin County. I mean, we're all for like providing a letter of support,
Right.
or like helping support the effort, but it would have to be either via or somebody probably from the Peak to Peak or Gilpin County to apply for it. So that's, yeah, makes sense.
I think
you might. Yeah.
I think there's great potential there. And like I said, I've got it in my head how I can make it work.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of putting it all together. So more to come on that. And give me a week or two once Bill gets back and where he can get off the budget, and then we can really focus on that. But I do think it would be a good thing for us to do, and just help a tremendous amount of people that would, and increase the mountain ride at the same time. It's a win-win all the way around. I don't see a negative.
Yeah.
And to not bring, I don't want to bring politics into it, but the politics in Gilpin are, after the election, remain favorable towards transportation. So,
It's good.
which
They
is good.
do, right?
So-
And they realize that they need it. You know, that it's, you know, you gotta, the whole thing is to get where there's a need, and then how do you make it work? And then where does the money come from to be able to help everybody? And it sounds like they've got the money part covered. It's just who's gonna do it and how's it gonna get done? And like I said, I do think it's a twofold thing. I think, you know, we could maybe start with the one and add the other. We could do both at the same time. But I think it has great potential.
I believe Janie and I are going to go to the MAC meeting in January. She's,
Oh, good.
I've been kind of encouraging her.
Yeah.
And I send them Bob's report every month. So
Okay.
they see the numbers out of Rollinsville.
Yeah. Well, in the MAC meeting in January, we're going to do what is a coordinating council. Like, this is the type of thing that we're going to do. So it'll be a good introduction for her, because I do think that Gilpin could benefit from having a coordinating council. And I think just knowing like why there's another meeting, right? We're a working group of the MAC, and I don't know, just in general, just knowing like what the power of collaboration is, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Although she will be kind of on her own. So I just want to make sure that we're there supporting her as much as we can until she can build the coalition in Gilpin.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And then we could also, maybe Dr. Mack would be a good person, I don't know, to get them in touch with, Lisa, because Dr. Mack's our regional coordinating council. So maybe
I thought she was going to that meeting in January. No, wait, I might be confused.
Okay, sorry, I thought you said Mac. So
I said Mac, sorry, Dr. Mac. So
Dr.
I have been
Mac,
kind of encouraging her, because
good.
when I attended the Dr. Mac meeting, they were like, "Oh, you work with Gilpin." So I've been kind of encouraging her to at least start some sort of networking and talking, and kind of, you know, where are some other resources and people that she can talk to help her move this.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. They're having the LCC appreciation lunch in January. That's right.
Oh, cool.
Dr. Mack is, yeah.
Good. I am mindful of the time. We have 9 more minutes, and a few agenda items. So,
Sorry.
no, it's okay, but it's important to have this conversation, and I'm excited to see how this conversation with Gilpin has, you know, went on and continues to seem like a promising opportunity to bring more transportation options to the mountains. So, yay. Do we have any updates on the volunteer driver program?
Yes. So we got approval from DRCOG to extend the grant through June 30th. So right now we are getting that agreement signed. So we were in holding pattern on the IGA with Town of Ned, and with FHU, the consultant that's going to be helping us with the technical assistance. I talked to DRCOG today, and they're launching the contract internally, and they said that we should have it signed, or it should be sent to us to sign this week sometime. So hopefully things will go well. I know sometimes there's like insurance requirements that we have to address before we can sign it. So I'm hopeful that we'll have the contracts signed with both FHU and the Town of Ned, the IGA with the Town of Ned, by the end of the year. And January we'll be able to start fresh. And Miranda's already talked about needing like 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks to a month, to like hire and fill the volunteer driver program position. But we can start doing the admin work with FHU. We could do the first kickoff meeting internally just to talk about like timeline and project management and outcomes, like deliverables that we're going to need. So that's the update that I have. Questions? No.
So the contract will be signed by Boulder County and then also FHU, and then sent out to DRCOG.
So the funding agreement is signed by Boulder County. So DRCOG will send us the funding agreement. I've already updated everything in the web portal for an extended timeline. Once we have the contract, the funding agreement signed with DRCOG, we can contract with the town of Ned, or do the IGA with the town of Ned and FHU. We could do it now, but the current expiration date would be the end of the year, right? So December 31st, and that just wouldn't make sense to go through signing it and then have to do an amendment. So we just decided to hold off until we can do the full 6 months.
Well, they were able to extend it.
Yes, they are able to extend it.
And just remembering that it's holiday and the BOT doesn't meet, they meet every other week. And so hitting those points is always a little tricky, but I'm glad the extension came through so that we can actually
have time to dedicate to it.
Yeah.
Good news overall. Okay, that's good to know. And then we have, oh well, Nick, you already talked about the Boulder Canyon extra. Oh wait, was the 2025 DRCOG HST grant? That's the same one they were talking about, right? Or
So it was actually a discussion about dusting off the application and reapplying for the next round, which starts July 1st. I think we should do that just to do operating for the next year for the volunteer driver program. But we have some internal constraints for Boulder County to apply for that grant because we have to send everything to the business agenda for the BOCC. So I want to talk with Miranda and the town to see if it makes sense for them to take the lead and we can help like give them the application, because then we wouldn't have to go through all the insurance stuff, and you all would have like the resources that we got with this, and you all could like the town of Ned isn't here, but the town of Ned could just take the lead on it, and that would cut us out as a middleman, and we could provide local match. So that's something I wanted to talk to the town of Ned with, but I think that we're gonna, I don't know if anybody here like has any thoughts on if their willingness to do that.
I think I think as Jonathan gets through his time and with Miranda's help, it's been good. And I think they recognize how important it is. So I also think they realize that the middleman thing can be take up a lot of time. So,
and there's like all the issues with like pass down insurance requirements and
if it simplifies it, I don't see the town, from my conversations with Jonathan. So
yeah.
I can't speak for him. I can just say the conversations I've had with him, he's very interested in seeing it succeed.
okay. Thank you all. Nick, did you want to talk about
yes.
the business EcoPass update?
Yes. So Netherlands Business EcoPass program should be starting any day soon. More than 1,000 employees are eligible, and about 200 should be enrolled sometime by the end of this week.
Cool.
I'm dropping one more link in the chat to Ned's EcoPass program website.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know we had a website. Okay. That's good to know. Yay. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Oh, okay. This is another piece of good news. It seems like we're wrapping up the year with a little bit more clarity on some of the things that we've been talking about for a few months. So I just want to thank everybody for all the work that you've done and all the advocacy and the partnership and the building the networks that are needed to help our mountain communities. And yeah, does anybody want to say anything related to that just as we close off this like meeting for 2024, last meeting for 2024?
I just want to thank VIA and Mobility for All. I mean, we wouldn't have this, so
I was gonna thank you all.
Appreciative.
I was actually gonna say thank you all for like sticking with it. I know we had some challenging moments like before, and I think that it's really great to see how everybody's worked through it And like at the base, everybody cares about the community and like doing the best, right? So I think that we've just done a great job of overcoming overcoming our like different perspectives and really trying to center the experience of the people who can benefit. So thank you all for your collaboration and sticking with it.
It's been very educational.
Always is. Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's been great, and we're serving people that need what they need, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Great.
I
Thank
like your
you.
numbers, Angel.
I can't vouch for them because I was like adding Monday, like the day of the
Right.
week in there, but that's tentatively, it looks like Wednesdays and Thursdays probably are best to keep. We might have had like a strong beginning with Mondays, but it doesn't look like that like strength like continued.
Right.
But let me do like a more official, like not on the back of a napkin, like calculation to make sure that my calculations are right.
Yeah, yeah.
And Wednesdays, Wednesdays is senior
Mhm.
discount day at BNF. So it's also another
Yeah.
community of people that that we were considering when we first set it up. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that, and then also the Thursday need for the
Human Services
pantry.
Fair.
Yeah, Human Services Fair. I do think my gut reaction is Wednesday, Thursday, but
Let me know, so I can let Bob know, so we can let the driver know. So if I can have something in the next week or by the end of next week, that would be helpful.
okay. I'll confirm the numbers to include in the minutes that we're working on.
Perfect.
And much appreciation to the driver.
Yeah.
She
I
lo-
wave every time I go by, but I'm sure she's just like, who's that crazy person waving at her?
No, she loves it. She would love to see it grow. So we'll see what we can do with this Gilpin thing, and see if we can make it bigger and better.
Great.
Thanks.
Um,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming to these meetings throughout the year. Thank you for all your input, for your partnership. Like I said, I've also been learning a lot through, getting to know all of you better and hearing all the needs and supporting the best way like we can and I can personally. So yeah, I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great holidays. Rest, eat some yummy food. And remember the desserts that you like. Just have everything, all have soup, whatever you need to stay warm. And we will see each other again in January virtually. So yeah, thank you all.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.